We tend to think of marketing as this super creative, kind of fuzzy thing, right? But what if it isn't? What if it's more like physics? A world with fundamental rules you just can't break. If you break them, you fail. But if you follow them, you can build an empire. Okay, let's get into this.
So, where are we getting all this from? Well, it's from a stone-cold classic, The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing, by the legends Al Ries and Jack Trout. This book totally flipped the script on marketing, arguing that success isn't random. It follows a set of unchangeable laws. And as they say right on the cover, you ignore them at your own risk.
And this right here, this is the question the authors pose that just stops you in your tracks. It makes so much sense, right? We all accept that gravity is a thing. So why is it so hard to believe there are foundational truths to how we communicate and persuade? This is the big idea we're digging into today.
All right, so the very first thing we have to get our heads around, and honestly, it's probably the most important, is where the real marketing battle actually happens. It's not on a store shelf, it's not on a lab. It's right here, inside the customer's mind.
Okay, let's just blow up a huge myth right now. We're all told our whole lives that the best product wins, right? Build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door. Well, sorry, but that's just not the law. The law says it's not about being the best, it's about being the first to stake out a piece of real estate in your customer's brain.
And this gets its own name, of course. It's the law of perception. And it basically says that in marketing, objective reality doesn't really exist. There is no best product. There's only what the customer perceives as the best. And that perception, well, that is their reality. It's the only reality that matters.
This quote just nails it. It's the trap that so many companies fall into. They pour millions into making their product 5% better, fighting this product battle, while their competitor is out there winning the perception battle. The game isn't about facts and figures. It's about what people believe. So, if it's all about winning in the mind, how in the world do you actually do that? The answer is, well, it's incredibly simple, but man is it hard to pull off. It comes down to one thing: focus.
This is what the law of focus is all about. You need to burn one single word into your customer's brain. When I say overnight, you think FedEx. Bam! When I say safety, you think Volvo. When I say cavities, you think Crest. They don't just own a product, they own a word. And that, my friends, is the holy grail of marketing.
Okay, that brings us to the next big question: strategy. What do you do if you're not already the top dog? You don't just charge straight at the leader. No, you have to be smarter than that.
And here's the core of the law of leadership. Look, being the first product on the shelf is great and all, but it's totally useless if you aren't the first one to lock down that top spot in the customer's mind. Being first in their head is everything.
So what if it's too late? What if somebody else got there first? Well, you don't pick a fight you know you're going to lose. You change the whole battlefield. The law of the category is the ultimate move. You just invent a brand new space where you can be number one.
And here's how it plays out in the real world. Think about it. We all know Charles Lindbergh, first man to fly the Atlantic solo. But can you name the second guy to do it? Nope, me neither. But you definitely know Amelia Earhart. Why? Because she was the first woman to do it. She created a new category. Dell couldn't be the first PC, so they became the first to sell PCs by phone. Boom! New category, new leader.
But okay, let's be real. You can't always just invent a whole new category. What if you have to jump into a big, crowded market that already exists? In that case, you need to understand the mental ladder that's already built inside your customer's head.
Imagine it like this. For every type of product, soda, cars, whatever, there's a ladder in your brain. On the very top rung, you've got the leader. For rental cars, that's Hertz. And right below them, on the second rung, you've got the challenger, in this case, Avis. Your entire strategy depends on which rung of that ladder you're on. And this is where Avis did something absolutely brilliant. They didn't lie and say we're number one because, nobody would believe them. Instead, they embraced being number two. We try harder. It was brutally honest, and that's what made it so powerful and so believable. They turned their biggest weakness into their greatest strength.
So what's the big takeaway for anyone who's not number one? It's this, and this is so important. Whatever you do not try to be a cheap copy of the leader. It's a one-way ticket to failure.
Instead, you have to be the alternative. This is the law of the opposite. If Coke is the old, established classic, then Pepsi has to be the choice of the new generation. You're not trying to be a better Coke, you're trying to be the un-Coke. You give people a clear choice.
All right, this next law, it's going to feel totally wrong at first. In a world that is constantly screaming more, 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 this law says the real path to winning is to give something up, to sacrifice.
It's called the law of sacrifice, and it basically says you can't have it all. You have to choose what you're willing to give up to get something more important. Are you going to sacrifice having a massive product line, a super broad audience, or constantly changing who you are? You got to pick one.
And this quote just puts it perfectly. The second a company tries to be everything to everybody, slapping their name on anything and everything, it gets into trouble. Its meaning gets blurry, its focus is gone, and pretty soon it stands for nothing at all.
Okay, for our last law, let's talk about a tactic that's so powerful precisely because almost nobody has the guts to do it. Just being honest about your flaws. This has to be one of the greatest marketing slogans of all time. For Listerine, I mean, wow. They didn't run away from the fact that their product tasted awful. They put it right on the poster. And why did that work so well? Because when you admit a negative, the bad taste, the positive you're implying, that it must be a powerful germ killer, suddenly becomes 100 times more believable. It's genius.
And that's really what it all comes back to, isn't it? After we've looked at all these laws, perception, focus, sacrifice, all of it, it boils down to this one simple but incredibly powerful question. What's the one word you want to own? If you can answer that, you're not just marketing anymore, you're following the laws.